Hi everyone and welcome back. Welcome to the third module. So we have already discussed session-based, cookie-based and token-based authentication. Now it's time to talk about OAuth, OIDC, SSO, SAML and all these advanced topics for authentication. So in this module, our focus will be on OAuth, what is OAuth, why we need it, how it works, what are the different building blocks, how OAuth pieces comes together, what are different vendors of OAuth, and how can we implement Auth flow using simple Express app, NestJS app, like I want to do login with the Google, GitHub, and what are different tools and the different vendors are available using which you can implement Auth flow in your web app, mobile app. Okay, so it is going to be lots of content in this particular module because we are focusing on Auth. That is really very nice concept. I mean, you need to understand each and every part of Auth, how it works, what are the different Auth flows, machine to machine, PKCE, authorization grant, implicit grant, all these different flows. So let's dive into Auth, how it works, why we need it, what are different flows, and what type of applications can use Auth. So we are going to talk a lot about Auth. First, let's try to understand what is Auth. I mean, it is a little bit theoretical initial set of videos because we are discussing what is Auth, why we need it, what is wrong with the username, password, login everywhere, right? What is wrong with that? So we will discuss about that. So what is Auth? Auth is an open authorization. It is a secure authorization framework that allow a user to give third-party application limited access to their data without sharing their password. Okay. Simple example is I have my Google account. Okay. And I try to log into my Practo, which is maybe a medicine app. And that app is saying, okay, you don't need to create your account here. You can just log in with the Google. Okay. So what I will do is I will click on to one button, login with Google. So Google is not sharing the username and email and a password, both the things with that Practo medicine app. He's just sharing some information after you give consent because Auth is everywhere. Whatever the application you use in the today's world, you see login with the Google, login with the Facebook, Twitter, login with the SSO, SAML, all these things. So when you see login with the Google, what you do, you click on to the login with the Google. It asks you your email and a password that Google is asking, not that application. And then you give consent to the Google, okay, share the minimum information with this Practo app so that I can get into that application. So this is the practical flow. So let's say, imagine you want to let your house cleaner access to your apartment, but only on Mondays and not on, but only on the Mondays and not your private drawer, not your private space. So Auth gives you that ability to create exact kind of access. So Auth will enable you, Auth will give you a separate private access key, which you can give to your house cleaner, that he will see only the public space which he needs to clean. Now, why Auth is created? That's a good question, right? So let's say I have Google account. I need to log into Practo app. I need to log into my daily grocery app. I need to log into my home device app or something, right? I need to create a username password. I need to remember those username password. I will get confused. We are humans, right? So before Auth, every app was, you need to enter the password for their services, right? Now, if your app want to access your Gmail contact, let's say there is a new app I created, which tells me about my calendar invites in advance. Okay. That app will ask you your Gmail username password, right? To access the calendar information. That is dangerous, right? You are giving the Google credential to the another app. It could misuse your data. So how can we solve this problem? We can solve this problem by eliminating the need of password, letting users control their data they can access, enabling application to access resources on behalf of user. So now what I will do, I will go to that calendar app. I will say login with the Google. I will enter my Google credentials, which I remember always. Okay. And then Google will ask me, can I share a basic information like email to this calendar app? I will say yes. then I will be able to enter into that application. So Google is sharing the information after receiving consent from us. So OAuth is enabling users to control the data which they can access, enabling applications to access the resources on behalf of users. So this is called delegated access. So at the end, OAuth is not about identifying, not about authentication, who you are. But once you are authenticated, OAuth is about granting permission to do something on your behalf. We always say to log in to another app, hey Google, allow this app to read my calendar, allow this app to read my schedule, right? All those things. This is what OAuth is enabling us without entering email and password. OAuth is just providing the scoped information to these third-party application on our behalf. And we use auth flows day and night. Whatever the application we access, wherever we are not entering password, we are saying, okay, log in with my Outlook account, log in with my GitHub, log in with the email, log in with the Facebook, log in with the Twitter or Google. We are doing the same thing. They have implemented auth flows, and we are giving consent to the Google, Facebook, Twitter or social providers. Okay, share the minimum information and let me access the resources. So typically there are three parties. I will talk about this in detail. Resource owner, the user who owns the data. I mean, I am. Client, the app that want access, like, okay, the calendar app, Postman, Trello, Notion. Authorization server. This is the login consent system, which is the Google, Facebook, GitHub, Auth0. Resource server, where the data lives, like Google Calendar, GitHub APIs, Google APIs, because there is the actual data that the third party app try to access, right? So we can understand it with a simple example that you are at the hotel and you want a room service to clean your room, but you don't want to give them your room key. Instead, you give them a limited access password key that works only for cleaning, only for that particular hour, right? This is the minimal layman language to understand what is the auth flow. Here you are the resource server. Room service is the client. Hotel reception is the authorization server, because hotel reception will ask you for the consent. Your room is the resource server because they want to access your room. Who will let us access your room? The hotel reception. And who is going to give consent? You are going to give consent because you are the resource owner. And the room service, who is entering in for the cleaning, is the resource client. So this is the practical basic examples about auth flows. Hi everyone, so what do we understand till now? We understand what is auth, why we really need it, because humans are lazy and it's not practical to create account in each and every application to access their platform. What we always do is we delegate those to the social providers. Okay, who uses it? The application they want to access data from another system, right? So let's try to understand. What is auth? A way to let access the data on your behalf without sharing your password. You're not entering your Google email password into the calendar app. You are doing login to the Google app, Google account, and then Google is asking your consent. Okay, can I share this minimum information? Yes. Who uses it? Why use it? Because it is secure, limited, and secure. First, you're not sharing password. Who uses it? The apps, they want to access the data on your behalf from the other system. The calendar app want to access the Google Calendar data, which resides in the Google servers, right? Real example, log in with the Google, GitHub, log in with the Auth0, right? It gives me the cleaner way to pass the access, or you can say allow the third parties. It is passing the permission to the third parties to access the data on your behalf from the external systems. Simple. I have a Google account, right? I own that account, but there is another app which is saying, okay, you don't create account here. You can just say, okay, log in with Google because you already have account, and I want to read your contacts maybe, or I wanted to do something else. That's fine. So I will log in with the Google. I will enter my Google email password. Then Google will ask me, can I share minimum information to this third party app? If I say yes, then it will pass some basic metadata information, and that app will understand, okay, this user is valid user. It has a Google account. I can register that user in myself, and onboard that user without enabling the sign up process. Okay. There are some real world example for the beginners to understand what is auth. Because if I talk in terms of resource owner, client, authorization server, resource server, you will get confused. That's a real thing. So let's say you are out of town and you want a friend to deposit a check for your bank, but you don't want them to withdraw or do anything else on your account, right? So you write a limited authorization letter that allows only deposit for one time in a particular time period. So who is resource owner? You, because you are the account holder. Client, who is going to do all this action, is your friend. Authorization server, this is the bank teller system which verifies your letter and your signature. Resource server, your bank system. Deposit feature, because you are going to access the deposit feature. Access token, the signed letter with permission to deposit only. Right? Similarly, digital door, passkey, resource owner you, client is your guest. Right? The Google Docs sharing link. So you want to give someone access to your Google Docs just to view, not to edit. So in this case, resource owner is you, client is your friend who is trying to access the document. Authorization server is a Google Docs link sharing system. Resource server is the document, and the access token is the view only link. So these examples, these practical life examples, explains how the auth flow works. Let's say I have a Notion app. Okay. Let me just try to log out and log in for you. Give me a second. So here, what do we see? If you try to see this thing, what all I see? Continue with the Google, continue with the Apple, continue with the Microsoft, log in with the passkey or SSO. So I don't have a Notion account because I didn't create one. But I want to enter this application without registering myself. But I have Google account, I have Apple account, I have Microsoft account. So let's say if I do Google account, right? So what it will do? It will show me this particular screen, which I just popped up. The Google account, okay? I will choose this account. I will choose one account and I will give consent. This is the consent screen where Google is asking, do you want to give consent? Do you want to give consent? You can see Google will allow Notion to access the information about you. So what Google is asking me, okay, this Notion app is trying to access some information, which is email, name, profile picture. Do you want to give access to this Notion app so that I can share this information? I will say continue. So what will happen in that case? I gave access to the Notion app. I give consent to the Google so the Google can share this information with the Notion app. And I'm able to enter into the system. So you can see open Notion app. And I did login. I'm able to enter into my account. This is the very basic thing, right? So this is how all these things are connected. Now here I can just do the logout and I can see the other login mechanism, like login with the Apple, Microsoft, all these things. And what a developer really has to do, like Notion, this app is built by someone, right? They need to use access key and a secret key provided by Google, Apple, Microsoft, and they need to configure in their system, because how all these things are connected. Because tomorrow you might be building one application. I might be building one of my application, let's say Google Contact Synchronizer, or I'm building some AI app which will allow users to log in with the Google GitHub. So what I need to do, those things we are going to talk about. How to allow your app to let users log in with the Google, Facebook, Twitter, all these things. So that is the practical code level implementation that we will do. We need to go to Google Developer Console, GitHub Developer Console, need to create access key, secret key, configure them in our Node.js or whatever the application we are building, so that all this end-to-end flow can be activated. So this example, this is auth flow practically, and what it talks about. You are going to the hotel, right? You gave your car key to the wallet. Okay, wallet will use car key just only for the parking. So you are the resource owner. There is authorization server, which is the manufacturer, because you actually need to pass the car key and validate that, okay, this valet can drive my car for the parking for a particular duration, right? So this is authorization server, the manufacturer, who will validate, okay, that this user can drive the car. You give car key, so the client is the car, valet. Valet is doing all this action, right? Valet is using key, and this is the authorization server, the car manufacturer, which is validating the key, and you are the resource owner, right? So let's try to understand this thing. I have shown you the Notion app example. So resource owner user, I have the Google account. What I will do is I am trying to access the Notion app. So I went to the login screen. Okay, I did click on login with the Google, right? Now this auth server of Google redirect me to the login consent screen. I said, okay, I entered the credentials of the Google and I said, okay, grant the permission to this application to read my data. Okay, so this authorization server redirect back with the authentication code. And in the exchange of authentication code, my client app, the Notion app, will exchange the authentication code, this auth code, to the authorization server and get access token. Okay, so authorization server will return the access token, and now I can access the private data. Now with this authentication token, I can access the Notion API server to give me all the Notion notes or the documents I have created. So this is the end-to-end flow. You might get confused, what is this happening here? Redirect back to the auth code, and then the client app is exchanging the auth code and getting the access token. This is internally happening. I will show you how this happens. But I'm the user. I click on login with the Google on the Notion app. Notion app presented me the Google login screen. If I'm not logged in, I will say okay. And after that, it will ask me the consent. Actually, Google is asking me the consent, not the client app, because we redirected to the Google auth server. Then I say, okay, allow this application to access my information. I say yes, continue. Then it redirect internally authorization server. The Google authorization server will give auth code, and I will get access token. And finally, I get access token at the client app, which is a Notion app. Notion app has the access token now. And with the access token, I can now access the Notion API server to fetch all the notes, the documents I have created in the Notion app. So resource owner, me, client app, Notion app, authorization server. This is the Google server, resource server. This is the API of the Notion API. Now you can fit the same with any example, any real world example which is providing login with these third party authentication providers.